This is Almost 107, a Fanshawe College journalism student podcast. Get real.
Hello, I am Pratik Ahuja, and on this episode of Almost 107, you'll hear, meet, and learn about the car culture in London, Ontario. And joined by me is.
I'm Daniel Monroy.
I'm Theodore Ramarak.
When you think of car culture, you're probably thinking of big cities, but London, Ontario actually has a pretty strong scene of its own.
Today we're taking a look at car culture and why it matters in London.
So the big question is, what actually is London cars culture? To find out, we spoke to people who are a part of it.
First, we spoke with Terry Johnson. He's also one of the people behind Rides on Richmond, one of London's biggest car event.
What is it about cars that you kind of like, and how did you get involved with them, or just why are they interesting to you?
I was raised on cars. My grandfather had cars. All my uncles have cars. My dad had cars. I was born in Saskatchewan, and my dad always had a good mix of cars. He had muscle cars. He had Beetles. He had the van thing was a big thing at that time. Customizing vans, full-size vans, and putting like elaborate interiors into them. So I grew up in that scene a little bit. But it's the ability to customize it and make it your own, right? Like Fanshawe is a big parking lot. If you drove through Fanshawe and your car was done the way you wanted your car done, everyone would know that that's your car, right? That car stands out everywhere it goes. So it's nice to have something that you can express your personality and your vision, and then be able to drive it around and show it off or meet different people.
You just say your full name and kind of your occupation or your job. Yeah.
Yeah, Terry Johnson. I'm a project manager at a mass timber company in St. Thomas. We do construction-based projects. The company's called Element 5. And then evenings and weekends, I run my own deal called Grenade Garage, which is working on classic cars and making parts for other people.
If someone asks you what is London, Ontario's car culture, how would you describe it?
It's diverse. It's, my scene is my group, and my scene is kind of the classic car, customs, lowrider scene. In high school, I was a mini trucker, so I had a lowered S10, and that was the time that Fast and Furious came out. Date myself a little bit here. So the tuner scene really came on a lot stronger. Now the tuner scene is really diversified between the body kit look of the late 90s into the more, race and show style, as opposed to just, the veil side, the rims, the lowering. It's grown substantially from what it was, which is amazing to see that group grow. With that, also the exotics, the different types of exotics that are out now, and the ability to get those has grown. So we have the exotic guys, the tuner guys. The mini trucks are kind of making a resurgence right now. The tuner guys have always been around, so it's good to see that still there. You've got the guys now doing the BMWs and the Mercedes, and then the Japanese. You can bring some Japanese cars over now that were in that peak group that everyone wanted to own, but now with the import laws changing, you can bring those cars over.
So what is Rides on Richmond for people who've never heard of it before?
So Rides on Richmond, the concept of it started in 2019 during the chaos of that time. We had a friend who does all of our artwork, actually, Alvaro. So every piece of artwork you see for the show is designed by him. He was doing some shirts at the time that released, and I thought, let's Dos Tacos, my buddy Assad there, my business partner for the show. We did a little photo shoot there with the shirts and my car, and we joked a little bit about doing a car show and shutting the street down, and that started a year and a half, 2 year long, kind of meeting with the right people, figuring things out, putting all the right forms in. It didn't go as smooth as it could have, but there's a lot of people downtown London and the city of London that were rooting for us in the beginning, so that definitely helped out, and having their support was huge. So 2 years later, we launched our first year, and that kicked it off. The first year, we started small. We were like, let's go central to Piccadilly, see how it goes. If we do something small and it's a success, it's easier to grow from there. So that's how we started, and we filled that space so quickly. We had people in side streets and everything. So right off the bat, we had amazing support from the entire car community, not just one demographic of the car group. It was everybody.
Why do you think people form such a strong identity around their cars?
I think it's individuality. There's if you look at a really popular car, say, back in the day, it would have been, the Tri-5s, the shoe boxes, the Novas, the Camaros. How do you make that car look like your own car? When you're driving through the school parking lot or wherever it's parked, and someone knows you, they know that's your car. It's not just one of 100,000 mass-produced. Let's use Dodge Ram. Dodge Rams, tons of Dodge Rams out there, different colors. How do you know if one is one person's? He might have a lift kit on it, some rims. Now that's your buddy's truck. The same with the Euro scene and the domestic import scene. It's changing it, whether it's slightly or heavily, depending on what look you're going for. If you're looking for that clean kind of VIP Euro look, you're going to make really subtle changes, really classy changes. If you're going for something wild and crazy custom, adding giant flares to it, shaving doors, Lambo doors, all that stuff, that's how you express yourself, and you can drive your expression. It's not like, you did up a room in your house. Right now, the big thing is like gaming rooms, right? You can't show off your gaming room to a group of people. With cars, you can go and take that out and show it off and maybe help inspire the next group. I have younger kids always coming up, and my car's on air ride, so I let them get in it. I let them hit the switches, mess around with a little bit, and hopefully spark something in that young person.
Do events like Rides on Richmond help bring different car communities together?
That's the goal. We don't want to have, this part of the street is classics, this part of the street is Euro, this part of the street is tuner. They're all mixed together. So everyone's walking the entire show, checking out something different in every spot. We want to have that mix, and we want to have the different groups who typically don't mix, talking to each other. And maybe one person starts off somewhere, like I started off somewhere and changed where I went to. So maybe that changes somebody, or maybe they get an idea from a different group that they implement into their car, or spark something different in them. So mixing the different groups together, I think, is awesome, and I enjoy seeing all of them.
That was really interesting. Why did you guys think?
Yeah, what I liked is how much identity is attached to people's cars, or Terry's cars, because cars is one of the few things you can really have control and how it changes. And that goes into your identity, and it's really, really important to him, especially because he was building cars since he was 13, I think he said. So it's a huge part of his life.
Yeah, making cars at that such young age is very nice.
Yeah, that was amazing. It was great hearing about him and his whole experience, like hosting a couple shows. What did you think about it, Pratik?
So it's like I have visited some of his shows that was like in last year, and they were having a lot of muscle cars, monster trucks, and 2 or 3 more cars that I personally liked.
I really like that there's like a huge diversity, as he said, like in this world culture, like this car culture, where you have the JDMs, the Japanese cars, Korean cars, as you said, muscle cars, that are the cars that people like the most in here in North America. What are your thoughts about it, Theodore?
Yeah, I like there was like no hierarchy. It was like every car is acceptable. They all wanted to help each other, and I think that is what makes the culture so strong.
So something that is really nice about these events that he's been hosting, it's that they're created to put the community together. Because like we know that there's been a lot of beef in between small communities. And so yeah, I think that's really amazing, and all the experiences that can be created within just one specific topic like cars.
Next, we spoke with John Steneber. He is heavily involved in the car community around London and the surrounding area.
So, John, how did you start in this whole community or business, if we could call it as well, the car world?
Well, when I was a young boy, I was probably 11, 12, I built model cars. Then a group called the London Auto Modifiers, they put on a hot rod show in London. They started in 1957, and in 1958, we had a boarder at our house that had an old car, and I went with him to the hot rod show and helped him clean it up, this kind of thing. So since 13 until now, I've been involved with the hobby as such.
And what is the best memory you have with the cars? Like,
Well, the stories I can tell are the ones I can't. No, we've had a lot of fun, a lot of family fun. We put on family car shows. Your kids were involved. My kids were involved from the time they were born, riding around in the cars to different shows, meeting the people. I've met a lot of very nice people, famous people, race car drivers.
Back a little bit in history, let's call it, and talking about a little the begins of how the car world or the car community started in London or in this area. I can maybe say that you were part of it as well, maybe.
Well, we were.
How do you think it started, maybe?
I was definitely a part of it from the time of 13 or so on, but I had my first licensed car at 16. Picture over there, a 54 Ford. We could cruise the drag. It was my cool car. And back then, if you couldn't fix your own car, you didn't drive your car. So you had to be pretty handy because no one had any money. And we were driving cars by today's standards that probably weren't as safe as they could have been, but we had fun with them. And it all goes back to having fun and people once again. In the 50s, there was a drive-in restaurant in London called the Three Little Pigs, and that was the congregation or the congregating place on a Saturday night, Friday night, and everybody check everybody's cars out, some of them go racing, and it progressed through that. And I started at 16, and I was still going there until they closed the place. And at 80 years of age, I still cruise the drag with the old cars, just a memory. And of course, living downtown, you got to get downtown somehow, so you might as well go down Dundas Street.
so how many shows have you conducted in London downtown?
Have I?
How many shows have you conducted in London?
Well, I've been involved with shows in London. The one at the fairgrounds, the Modifiers have put that on, and we put it on as a group. And we had one in Harris Park at one time. We've had shows all over, little shows, and different people have started cruise nights, and they continue on to this day. A lot of people, we tour the seniors' homes, take them, people that are restricted at not getting out and about, they can still see the old cars and relive some of their old memories. It's important to get out and interact with everybody, and it gives the hobby credibility. So whether I watch it progress all the way through to the compacts, the exotics, and this kind of thing, and I appreciate anything that anyone does with a motor vehicle, regardless of what it might be. So things change over the years. Not everybody likes this. Not everybody likes certain things, but whatever you do like. But once again, it's the people get together.
A little bit of history again. Which one was the first show you hosted, and why did you took that initiative?
The first show that I personally was involved with putting on was the one in Dorchester that we've been doing for 44 years this year, July 12th. And I've been involved with the London Car Show as a volunteer, a helper, and helped put it on for a number of years. And we have an exciting show coming up next year, March 19th, 20th, and 21st of 2027. We will be reinventing the London Car Show again. We haven't branded it yet as such, but we have our dates, we put plans together, so it's an exciting time. So as I say, I get just as excited now as I did at 15, 16, and kind of thing, and look forward to seeing all the people that we see every year.
When you first started the car show, like when you first hosted the car show, how was the public response?
Public response, well, at one time hot rodders were like motorcycle gangs, stay away, or this kind of thing, but I think by having the show and being shows and being welcoming to everyone, it brought the credibility factor up and let people know that no, they're just not a bunch of hooligans and wild people that go out and cause problems. It's I think right now London really needs something like an indoor show in the winter, because with the weather we've had this year, it's nice to get out, and spring's coming, have something to look forward to. An auto modifier. So between us, we've got a wonderful brain pool, brain trust, if you will, that can put together a real successful show. And we have to be inclusive, because as far as cars go and the general public, you want to be welcoming to everyone, and we're going to keep things affordable with this show so that it just doesn't cater to somebody that's got a big wallet. And I think that's the most important thing, once again, back to the people. But, and I think with what you folks do, social media, podcasts, one thing and another, that really gets the message out. I mean, I can print posters up and wander around Southern Ontario all summer, and I'm not going to get the response you'll get in one day. So it's times have changed, and a lot of people at all ages, some of them don't like change, but we have to accept it, because this is the way it's going to be. Yeah, and with cars, electric cars, I can honestly say I don't understand them. I'm not a big fan of them, but that is coming, or another mode. And I mean, I'm sure the same thing happened when people were driving horse and wagons and cars came out. This is a passing craze. This will never last, and as you can see, I have the Buick here. Well, that's late model drivetrain, but it's original looking, totally different from the 30s than what the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. The progressions have all been different.
That's right.
So, and if you just say, oh, I only like these, well, you really limit yourself. But that's the same with anything in life, So it's once again, it goes back to friendships and having fun, and that's the big thing, fun. I mean, work is very serious, life is very serious, but you got to have that much fun in it, or it makes things pretty tough. But that's just an old guy's perspective.
Yeah. It was a great experience going to his shop in Dorchester. I think we had a lot of fun seeing all his cars, seeing them from the inside. He was explaining as well all the customizations that he's done to them, and seeing them just inside. I was just thinking about, just imagine driving those cars right now, all the looks you will get. What are your thoughts on that? What do you think about the cars?
The cars, but first it was just when we got there, it's very unassuming, the building, but you enter his garage, it's just full of memorabilia and cars, and every single piece had a story connected to it. And he made all these relationships because of cars, because of working on cars, because of doing car shows and things like that. So it really showed, it felt like all the car culture was just concentrated in his garage, and it was just really cool to see that for me.
So yeah, as I mentioned before, I think John is part of the whole history of car culture in London and in this whole area. At this point, I think we should build a sculpture about him or something.
Right, exactly, Dan.
I think he's definitely earned a couple sculptures for sure. Everything that he's done.
Right, and a big shout out to Terry and John. It's all for the episode of 107. Thanks for listening.